What up, fish tank people? John 3107 2000 here with another water change Wednesday update on the two planted tanks I got going. Not a whole heck of a lot has changed. Everything's planted a little bit better. The runners have been cut off most of the swords, and they have been replanted, although this is not where I intend them to stay. Once I get the other planted tank up and running, most of those will probably be going in that tank. Not a whole lot new. Again, just replanted everything that had come up that my fish had torn up. That ladder's going to be coming out. I have my other aqua clear out of the other tank now. So that's going to be going in here. So it's going to be much like on this side with this aqua clear, only without the spray bar. I'll have to put the nose attachment, but I don't know if you're going to catch that. The tube actually goes in the bottom of that little filter dealy jobby before it gets to the impeller. That way the bubbles blow straight into the impeller, and it blows up the bubbles super fine. I don't know if I'm going to catch any. Yeah, you can see that. They're just super fine, and it gets dispersed at least halfway into this tank. So I'm hoping that by putting the one on the other side, it will also blow it like the other half of the tank, and I'll have the CO2 mixing real well all the way through the tank. Again, there's 2 bottles on that side. There's 2 bottles on this side. Two reactor bottles, and then the bubble counters on either side. So, and I change 1 bottle every 4 days, alternating sides. The last bottle I changed was the one in the back there. Yeah, actually, if I can get out of the sunlight, you'll see that running like a rape tape. That's because I just started that one. It's just starting to get warm, so it's running kind of crazy right now, but it'll calm down here about a day. This is how it'll run over time. Hopefully you'll catch that. It's about a bubble per second out of that hose. The other hose is still bubbling a little bit. I probably should shake the bottle a little bit, but the idea basically is to have 1 bottle starting, coming up, bubbling like crazy like that one is. 1 bottle coming up, 1 bottle coming down, which will be that front bottle on this side, which is barely bubbling at all, and then 2 bottles at pretty much peak capacity. Basically, that will keep your CO2 nice and steady so that you don't get an algae breakout. I don't know how well I'm going to shine into this tank, but you can see there's no algae on anything. None of these leaves have algae. None of these plants at all have any algae of any sort on them. I do have Malaysian trumpet snails, which you'll see all over the bottom of this tank. I do have ram's horn snails in here that also help. But the main contributor is this guy right here. Some people call him a twigfish. It's actually a Farluella. He's the only one really working on the algae in here. In here somewhere is an algae-eating shrimp if he's still alive. I had 3 of them in here, but over the years they've either died or got eaten by some fish I put in here, or you know, they just disappeared. That's the best way to put it. But I know there was at least 1 in here. There are 3 CPOs, 3 or 4 CPOs still left in here, and unfortunately they stopped reproducing. I'm not real sure why. I had so many I didn't know what to do with, and I was just throwing them in other tanks because I didn't know what to do with them all, and then they just stopped reproducing. Nothing really has changed all that much in the tank, barring one thing. That big patch of Java moss, which is actually growing up the back of the tank, used to sit flat on the ground back here. I don't know if that has anything to do with it, because they can obviously still get into the Java moss. They still do. They still climb all through it on both sides. And this wall has been cut down a ton. This used to be pretty much up to the top of the back of the tank. I had to cut out for my filter because it was just getting, every time I cleaned it, it would just get re-sucked back up in there. And if you look, it's kind of going to be hard because that Amazon's in the way. But that patch, that's all the same patch. It started out with a little patch that came from Petco on a ceramic jobby dealie that was probably about index card size. And once I got a planted tank actually established, I just kind of threw it in there and forgot about it. And like I said, this is the one piece. All the way across behind the sponge filter and pretty much ends right there. Right at about my rose sword. So, I mean, that's more than half the tank, and I've cut it down from how high it was. So I have tons of Java moss. This whole patch is solid. If I pushed it together, it would still probably be like an inch thick. Now, this is on the heavy dosing side of the CO2, so I kind of understand why that's happening. Not to mention that window in the back is sort of open, so it does get sunlight, natural light from outside. So, I mean, that just grows. That came as, when I first put that patch in there, there's a little bit that came off of it, and I took a big rock, and I just kind of, I tried to attach it to the far end piece. I'm not going to get a good shot of it, but the far end piece of this wood. And over time, the fish and everything else have pushed it off the wood, and it's grown as a mat up the back. Has encompassed that onion plant, which through watching videos, I've heard they very much don't like to be moved. I want to move it. I want to move it bad. I kind of would love to take that and put it right there in that hole. Cut back. I need to cut back that Java moss behind the sponge filter that can't be seen anymore. Yay! There's actually an extra large sponge filter that keeps it oxygenated with this much CO2 in it, and that runs all the time. There's also a hang-on back filter, but I just put 3 different types of floss. Basically, it's more of a water polisher and rotator oxygenating the water than it is a true filter. What I'm planning on doing is probably cutting off some of that Java moss, and I've seen some ideas online on how to make like an overflow where it runs right through the plants, helping filter it. They'll act as a biological filter and help filter the water as it comes through. So just another added, this tank is way over filtered, so I don't really have to worry about it. I do it more for the oxygen than I do for the filtration. I have tons of floating plants and they suck up nutrients like crazy, so I don't really have to be too concerned. But there is one new thing. I took the second 4-foot light bar that had 2 24-inch lights in them working at like 18 watts a piece, and I put this, I think it's a 24-inch fixture, but it has the incandescent bulbs, just the screw-in light bulbs. So what I did is I went down to actually Walmart and found GE has a CFL, a compact fluorescent, that radiates at 6500 K in the spectrum. Plants should have 6700 K Kelvin, but 6500 is pretty close. So this is actually running 2 of those down the front of my tank, and you can see how my plants have responded. That plant that's been growing in here for a while is now reached out of the tank. These have been planted for a little over a week. That's growing like gangbusters. More here. Yeah, since I put that light on all these plants every day, just go, thank you. That's one of the baby Amazon swords coming up like crazy. Loving the CO2, loving the highlight. Look at the CO2 bubbles. Like I said, that power head pushes it out about half the tank. You can see my bubble filter is right mid-tank. So, and you can see it stacking up and blowing off the leaf right there. That's all CO2 coming off that. So it's obviously getting halfway across the tank. I can't wait to get the other one on the other side. Catch up on this side. Although that Anubis looks absolutely incredible. I love that plant. But this is a little longer than I wanted. I just wanted to touch on a few things. Hopefully not too long. I know I'm extremely long-winded. I get into saying something and I forget that there's a timer. I apologize, peeps. Hopefully you guys enjoy this. Hopefully you like the new look. Hopefully I explained the CO2 enough and how I run it. I've been running it that way for months now without a problem. So, and I've done hundreds of CO2s between all the planted tanks that I've had, and by far the plants have responded best to this method. So I wish I could remember the video I saw that explained everything, because I'd recommend everybody to go see it, and I'd love to give that gentleman credit, but I honestly cannot find it again. When I do, I will give that gentleman a shout out because he was extremely knowledgeable, extremely smart, and I can just see with the plant growth in my tank, extremely right. So thank you again, whoever you are, ambiguous person. I apologize. I will find that video. When I do, I will publish it for everybody to see. Hopefully you do. It explains a ton in a very short video. It's only like a 5-minute video, and he explains it, has graphs, has charts, the whole nine. So as soon as I find it, I'll get it out there for you guys, and give him credit for being so damn smart. But that's about it, folks. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Hope you liked the little walk through the tank. Any questions, comments, please feel free. Rate, subscribe, appreciate it, and let me know what you think. Talk to you guys later. Have a great day. Talk to you next week.